Hey, B. I'm back, honey, for just a little piece, real quick. Listen, I was getting ready to come up here to talk to y'all about the Kevin Hart roast that I got a chance to watch the other night when it aired on Netflix. And we're gonna talk about that. But why, in the midst of me coming here to talk to y'all about that, I came across this post that says that Alex Murdaugh, y'all remember Alex Murdaugh, whose wife and son was brutally murdered at his home or something like that? They did a full like documentary and detailed a lot of the history about him and his family, like real crazy. They're saying that the murder conviction was overturned. It's crazy. And this is why. From my understanding and what I've read, there was a county of or Clark County individual by the name of Becky Hill, county clerk of court, Becky Hill. They said that she heavily influenced the jury to find him guilty based on like how he was with like the finances and stuff, him like taking money and all of that. They felt like she used the financial aspect of him being like a fraud, a liar, stealing money, all of this stuff like that from his clients. She used that to heavily influence the jurors to find him guilty because he just came off guilty of those crimes. Then it's not too far fetched that he murdered his wife and child, right? And they said that the reason she was doing this was because she was getting ready to put out a book and they wanted, at least this is what they're saying, she wanted the sales from her book to be I guess increased or to do very well based on whatever the outcome of this verdict would have been, right? They said she has since pled guilty to lying about what she said and did to a different judge. Okay. She's pled guilty to this. But let me go back just a little piece, okay? So they're saying in a unanimous ruling, the justices said the conduct by the court clerk egregiously attacked Murdaugh's credibility by suggesting to jurors his testimony could not be trusted. They also said the trial judge went too far in allowing evidence of Murdaugh's financial crimes into his murder trial. They felt like whatever he did financially had nothing to do with the murder. But that's real interesting. And I would love to hear from the attorneys that watch this. Let me know your thoughts because I'm kind of like a lot of times murders are influenced by the finances of it all, right? Although his crimes, I guess, were a bit different because he was kind of like finessing like the clients and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But so that money wasn't necessarily tied to the death of those people. But shit, I mean, maybe did he get some insurance money? You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute since I watched it, but I guess that would be a little different. All right. They're saying Murdaugh won't be getting out of prison, though. Okay. Due to him pleading guilty to stealing around $12 million from his clients. Right. So he's already serving a sentence for that, which is about what, 40 years or something. So he's not getting out. However, this murder conviction being overturned, it looks like it's giving him the opportunity to have a new trial. And it could come out that, he's found innocent. That's gonna be interesting. I mean, yeah, it looks like it's a win and he's getting the opportunity to have a new trial, but I still think the outcome is going to be the same. I feel like his name is so tainted in the media that y'all can leave out as much evidence as possible and they still gonna find his ass guilty. Okay? They still gonna find him guilty of likely unaliving his wife and his son. Now he says that he never did that. He still stands true, saying he never ever did that. But y'all, I don't know. All right. But Miss Becky Hill got her own battle she has to face because, she had to plead guilty to lying about what she said and did to a different judge, which is interesting. She was assigned to oversee the evidence and the jury during the trial. So, with her overseeing the evidence and the jury, they're saying that she influenced the jury to find him guilty because she was going to be writing a book about all of this and she wanted to improve her book sales. Like, y'all sure? Is that right? Is that what it really was? Was it really her influence as if it wasn't the entire social media influence about the case? And y'all putting that all on the, what is it? The county clerk of court. Something about that don't sound right. But if that's what's going on, that's what it is. But I was just really surprised by that for the people that's been following the Alex Murdaugh case and all of that. And you guys watched, I think it was on Hulu, the little docu series or whatever that they had on that case. I just don't see him coming out with a different outcome, right? Yeah, they're gonna let him do a new trial. They want this trial to be more fair because they feel like the last one wasn't fair. But again, the pool is tainted at this point. Okay, so you getting a fair trial and you getting that guilty verdict, in my personal, is only going to be it's just going to be more solidified in my personal, because we gave you a fair trial and these people are still saying that you damn guilty. But child, good luck. They're saying that there was no evidence though that linked back to him. That's why they want a whole nother trial, because they felt like a lot of the influence that the jurors made was based on financial records and I guess his character and stuff, not so much as the actual evidence that pertains to the murder cases itself, as far as the DNA, blood, stuff like that, his clothing. There was nothing found. So they say, child. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. But y'all leave y'all thoughts on that. All right. I just wanted to talk about that real briefly since it just popped up. But what I want us to get into is the Kevin Hart roast. Okay. So Kevin Hart had a roast of himself. Super happy for him, you know. Well, I'm not super happy for him. I'm saying he was super happy for himself to have a roast. I remember watching it and I was like, he's so damn happy these people roast. He is so fucking happy. And maybe that's a good thing. I mean, hell, you get to sit up there and collect millions of dollars while folks are sitting up there roasting this shit out you. Baby, who the hell am I? Get your coin, I guess. Okay. So he's up there being roasted by many of his friends. You know, Regina Hall was there. You had Cheryl Underwood that was in the building. Chelsea, I can't think of Chelsea, the white lady's last name. She was there. Cat Williams came out. Lizzo was out there. Tiana Taylor came out there briefly. The Rock came out there. It was so many people that came out there, right? And so many jokes were being made about each other. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was listening to it, I was kind of surprised that some of the stuff was being said about the other people sitting on the stage. But I was like, you know, the more I watched it, I was like, and some of the jokes were definitely funny, right? Definitely funny, not gonna hold you. But I was like, well, shit, they signed up for this. Y'all signed up to sit on that stage and be on that platform, collect that check. And it's like all is fair when it comes to roasting. They even tried to roast somebody out there in the audience, trying to say the man was dead when the man was sitting in the audience, right? It was crazy. Okay. But I will say that I was entertained, you know, myself. Now, there was one joke that came up that I do not recall hearing. So I said, this must be when I walked out the room and this joke happened, because I did not hear this. And now I'm going to replay this for you guys, for y'all to hear. It was by this comedian named Tony Hinchcliffe. And can I say this? They was on Tony's ass. Before Tony got up there to say anything, it was like every comedian that went up there had some shit to say about Tony. And I'm like, Tony, they must be ragging on you because you're a Republican. Are you lightweight or heavyweight racist or something? Because when I tell you black and white folks came to that podium on Tony's ass, they was on his ass. And Tony did end his joke like this. So let me see if I can get it up on the screen for y'all real quick. Child, you know what? On second thought, let me just play the audio for y'all, because you know Netflix could be real, real fine and high. So let's just play this for y'all to get into of what Tony had to say.
It's true he lost his gig hosting the Academy Awards because it's true he lost his gig hosting the Academy Awards because of some homophobic tweets, but you'd be homophobic too if you were eye level with everyone's cock.
Yikes.
He got into a fist fight on a private plane, proof that no matter how much money black people have, they're still just gonna act like ninjas. Always fighting. Like Bill Cosby, Hart is a black comedian from Philadelphia, and like Bill Cosby, women don't know when Kevin is inside of them.
Yikes.
You've done good though, Kevin. The black community is so proud of you. Right now, George Floyd is looking up at us all, laughing so hard that he can't breathe.
If you hear the oh, to me, the audience went from laughing to oh, like whoa. You know, it was definitely a shock factor and a wow, like damn, he said that. I just feel like when it comes to like the George Floyds, the Sandra Bland's, the Tamir Rices, you know, um, the Emmett Tills, I just feel like those type of jokes, let's not play with it. Now, for me, anybody sitting up here on this stage is fair game. I don't give a damn what you say about these people, because y'all all signed up to be a part of that. You all understand how roasting goes. You guys, most of y'all are comedians, so you know how this works. Lizzo may not be a comedian, but she got joked on, and she also joked on others, right? That's what came with the roasting territory. So for me, that's fine. I'm not going to be more upset than the people sitting on the stage that were absolutely okay with being roasted in whatever manner they chose to be roasted in. But when we're bringing up individuals like a George Floyd, Emmett Till, those type of people, Emmett Till was not mentioned, right? but people have often thrown him into their jokes or their music or certain shit like that. And I just don't think that that's necessary. Let no people rest, especially when they died in such traumatic ways in my personal and how it may have affected an entire community. So that to me is like, it's a lot of other jokes out here that can be made that you don't have to reach down and do that. Like George Floyd didn't sign up to be a part of y'all shit. Everybody else in the audience and likely on the stage signed up. So it was plenty of jokes that could have been made to go around. And that is where I disagree with a joke, right? That's where I disagree with what was being said. But as far as Cheryl Underwood getting that work, you know what I'm saying? People talking about her, how she looked, I think he said she looked like a burnt blueberry. I can't remember what it was the guy said about her, you know. Um, she was talked about. She sat up there on the stage. She was okay with being talked about. The things that she said, honestly, I felt like they went harder on Tony and Chelsea. Is it Chelsea Handler? I think that may be her name. The way that y'all were so obsessed about her coup was crazy to me. I was more surprised by that because I feel like when they talked about Cheryl, they talked about her husband that, unalived himself many a years ago. But I felt like those two individuals, it was like every single comedian that got up there had something to say about Chelsea and had something to say about Tony. But the way Chelsea was on Tony's and what's the other guy's name? It was the guy that hosted the show. I think his name is in the let me see. His
It's true, he
name, let me
lost his
see.
gig hosting
Gillis. I think it may be Shane Gillis or something, baby. She was on Shane. She was wearing Shane X out. Shane and Tony was her men who she was on their head top. When Cheryl got out there, I feel like Cheryl demanded respect and she laid into some others too. And I absolutely loved it. One thing about comedians, they will make some jokes that's, it's funny to us, but some of it is serious. So I do understand some people feeling a way about some of the racial things that were said because it's like, haha, we laughing, but how serious are you? Because when Cheryl got up there and she started snapping on their ass, it was funny. When Cat Williams get up there and he starts snapping, it's funny, but then what part is serious? Because Cat Williams has said a lot of things that's like dead ass serious, but we laughing at it. So I definitely understand people calling into question some of the racial jokes and things that were made because it's like, yeah, we but how serious are you? You using this to really get your shit off, right? So I definitely understand how people may feel about the situation, but then at the same time, I'm like, whatever they said about each other, I could care less. For me, because they all signed up for it. They understand what a roast is. They've been a part of this community of comedians for a very long periodically time that they know they go to the gutter and they go very low with theirs. And I'm just not going to be more offended than they are sitting down there. But I am going to be offended by the George Floyd of it all and that stuff. And I do believe that George Floyd's family came out with a statement. And I'm going to try to find that statement as well to see exactly what the family had to say. But I want us to get into what Cheryl Underwood had to say about the jokes that were made on her. So let me play that audio for y'all real quick.
Comedians, everybody has to laugh at everybody's jokes, but come on. And one person in particular, as comedians, everybody has to laugh at everybody's jokes, but come on. And one person in particular who got it a couple of times was Cheryl Underwood, who was on the dais, and it just seemed like the jokes for her were maybe crossed the line.
My husband killed himself in 1990. Really what happened, right? I was in the Air Force Reserve and they were getting ready to mobilize my unit to go in the Desert Shield and Storm. I'm sorry if I got it in reverse. It's been a really busy night, but my husband killed himself August of 90. So what they're talking about is his suicide over 30 years ago.
Nonetheless, what happened was everybody seemed to be pushing everybody's buttons. Even if it was a year ago or 30 years ago, it was, let's just find the most sensitive thing and just go in on it.
Well, I think it's the new way of roasting. When I first came to Los Angeles, I was hanging out in the Friars Club with those old-fashioned Borscht Belt roasters, those Jackie Masons and those guys. And that's why I said to Kevin at the end, we only roast who we love. There was a team of us. and rehearsing things that we could say and what the parameters were. But the best part was being with my colleagues. The best part was hanging out and Tiffany Haddish and Lizzo and my fraternity brother J Dub, one of the Plastic Cup boys, and all of us that know each other. That's why I said freedom of speech is alive and well, and it's alive in Netflix.
So the weird thing to me was Tom Brady, because when he was roasted, he got upset, yet he showed up and he roasted Kevin Hart, although he left so nobody could go after him.
I like the fact that he came to give Kevin a little elbow, but also give him his flowers. Usher, give an elbow,
Usher
give
did
him
come
his
out. He
flowers.
opened it up,
Cat
yeah.
Williams, for them to settle their beef. So I think what he did really helped everything. But The Rock being there, you could see all of us have genuine love and friendship.
I'm glad you brought up The Rock, because you said something about when you first came to LA and that the Friars Club, the rules, there were no rules, because this particular joke shocked a lot of people, coming from The Rock at least. He put the D in front of the R word.
But everybody laughed.
And everyone laughed. So has it swung back where now there are certain words that in this context people are fine with?
True roast comedy, it is not meant, it's not for mainstream domain. But you're talking about Netflix, and I know people don't agree and to say, well, why would you use these words? But what I thought was good about what The Rock did, everybody was questioning his blackness, and he really made the connection. It's a way for us to talk about the issues with humor and come to some common ground. Years ago, you couldn't say M word for little people, couldn't say R word for the disabled. I have a joke that I tell about my own sister. I tried to say disabled, but it does not work. When sometimes politically correctness does not fit in comedy.
Listen, sometimes it don't. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Y'all gonna have to be mad, but she ain't lying. Sometimes political correctness does not fit in comedy. Just like when I'm cussing a bitch out, it don't work when it's I'll slap your behind. Like, no, bitch, I'll slap the shit out your ass. Like, it's like I need certain keywords. I do need certain keywords to let you know I mean business a little piece, you know? So I do understand her feeling like they need certain keywords when it comes down to doing these jokes, right? I just think some things definitely can be off limits. I feel like it's so many things to joke about, but when we joke about situations like that, like a George Floyd looking up at us, or however he said looking down, like I can't breathe because he laughing. So like, do you hear your fucking so like that right there? I don't like that. But I will say they kept, even though they talked about Cheryl's husband passing away, they kept talking about Pete Davidson's dad who died in 9/11. They made black folks jokes, Jewish jokes. You know, I think what they were trying to do was like be fair with the jokes across the board, like any community could kind of get it. But I just feel like, okay, y'all joked about her husband. Y'all joked about Pete Davidson dad. We really didn't even need to mention Floyd. Like, we really didn't. Like, you really could have went somewhere else with it. Like Regina Hall, she got up there and she did a whole thing, like she was summoning or having a whole conversation with Kevin Hart's mom. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, he liked it. He was okay with it. It was fair for him. He laughed at some of it and cool. And for me, honestly, that was one of the parts that I didn't really enjoy. Not because she was acting like she was communicating with his mom or anything. It just wasn't that funny to me. And I've seen Regina Hall be much more funnier than she was on that night for me. But I would love to hear you all's thoughts about everything. But it was a situation to me where it seemed like everybody could get it. I didn't really care what they said about Cheryl because I knew Cheryl was gonna come up there and light their ass up. Okay. And when I tell you Chelsea did not hold back on that, especially the white men. Chelsea, it's like, I don't know. I don't think Chelsea like being white the way she was telling y'all it's up high key. But yeah, y'all let me know. Did you watch it? How did you feel about it? What are some things you think they could do better? You know, when it comes to jokes versus what they can versus what they can't. Do you understand that? You know, political correctness does not fit within comedy, or you feel like it can fit. Let me know your overall thoughts about the situation. Did you tune into the show, or did you merely just tune into the clips and therefore formed your thoughts and opinions from that? Leave all of that down below in the comments. Before I go, I definitely wanted to see if I could get a statement from George Floyd's family. About this situation. They probably, because see, I think also people were upset that Kevin Hart was laughing. He was laughing at the jokes, he was laughing at everything. And honestly, I feel like some stuff may not have been so funny, but Kevin was just like cracking up. So maybe he just, was overdoing it. I don't know. Cause if the moment was about him, I don't think he was going in that moment like, whoa, brother, you should have. But I feel like it could have been a way that he could have like laughed and like made a straight face like not at all. You have to bring Floyd into it. Like he could have made that another, I guess, like a reprimanding situation, but a laughing matter, I guess. I don't know. Would love to hear you guys' thoughts about that. But let me see if I could find what the family says. Okay. So it looks like Yahoo may have a statement where they're saying that on Sunday, May 10th, Netflix aired the roast of Kevin Hart. During the Netflix is a joke comedy festival, which was loaded with controversial jokes, including one about George Floyd, prompting many viewers to debate the merits of roast comedy, racist jokes, and even a heart to some extent. They said during the roast, which was hosted by Shane Gillis. I was right. Okay. It featured The Rock and a host of others. They said the Black community is so proud of you. Right now, George Floyd is looking up. Okay. So y'all heard that joke. I don't even want to repeat it, but let me see because I want to find. Give me 1 second because I want to find the exact statement. So here we are. They're saying, according to TMZ, who got a statement from the George Floyd Foundation, they're saying Kevin Hart laughing along with the jokes, sad for the culture, and question why comedian Tony Hinchcliffe was allowed to make repeated jokes about Floyd's death. All right. They're saying that the family also revealed that Floyd's daughter has reportedly been bullied in school because jokes about her father continue to circulate online. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that at all. They're saying we are trying to rebuild things for our community and make things better in our community. Let's try to be a little bit more positive. All right. So that is what the family is saying in response. And they did rehearse, according to what Cheryl Underwood said. I don't know if some jokes could have slid in there because I feel like some of the jokes they probably wanted like a wow factor from. So I don't know if Kevin knew that this joke was going to be a part of that or not. But I do think certain things like, hey, y'all, we could joke about a lot of stuff, but when it comes to boop, 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 let's keep that off. Okay. When it comes to these families, these people that passed away, these individuals, let's keep that off. And we can make a joke that's even much more hilarious than the one that you gave at that time. So I think that could fine tune some things, but I also understand that some things don't hit without certain, keywords or whatever Cheryl was talking about. But y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down below about everything. Of course, I'm Jamie. That's me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
Family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking the drama.